Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 78 of the Backlog podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and we are live, driving down to the airport. I just recorded about 20 minutes of podcast, realized that it did not record, so I'm a little pissed, but hey, these things happen. The benefit is I've already got what I want to talk about in my mind. So first I want to give a shout out to my buddy Bob and his girlfriend Alex. They are staying with us through the holiday here. They've been with us for most of December. Bob has. They went on a cruise, came back, and it's just a delight to be able to go 15 years without seeing somebody and then reconnect with them like the time hadn't passed and get along in such an awesome way. I really love these guys, guy and girl, and just really a pleasure to have them. So, you'll see if you check out our YouTube, Bob and I did the One Chip Challenge from Packy Chips. And the One Chip Challenge, if you're not familiar with it, is a single chip. It's a tortilla chip, absolutely coated till it's black in Carolina Reaper pepper sauce. Now, Bob and I both have done it in the past. Not a fun experience, but one to say you've done it, right? Just like bungee jumping, I guess. And what's the benefit? There is none, other than to stomach it, push through. Kind of like the native pygmy people who do, like, put their hands in ant things or whatever, right? It's dumb as fuck, but you can say you done it. Well, this time, Bob bought a case of 10 of these chips, and we ended up doing 2 each. We just stacked them and ate them, and it was very hard to push down because of how dry and how instantly painful. It's like a bee sting, the second it touches your tongue, you're feeling the heat, but you gotta chew it and swallow it. And I had to swig down with some just a swig or two of beer because I couldn't even, because of all the dryness, but Bob was able to push it down. We both went over 10 minutes without even consuming a single drop of anything other than, my initial helper to get it down. And I'll tell you what, holy shit, 2 was way worse than 1. My stomach turned in knots. It was terrible, but it was fun to say we've done it. We did it live. We streamed it on twitch.tv/backlogtime, and I put up a edited video. There's about a 30-minute video, because the last time I did it, we turned it off after the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then the worst came later. It was like when the peppers hit the digestive system and started going into the lining of your stomach and the intestines. That's when your body starts convulsing because it has no idea what's going on, and you start sweating from every pore in your entire body, including like the tips of your toes and bottom of your feet, palms of your hand. So I wore a onesie, a nice pink bunny onesie for the show. Do I regret it? No. I mean, obviously there was regret when I did it. Like, holy fuck, why did I do 2? And all of those things go through your head. But we toughed it out. I'm glad we did it because it's funny and it's silly and it's a challenge. And we defeated it. So, Packy 1 Chip Challenge, done. Packy 2 Chip Challenge, done. I do not think there will be a 3 Chip Challenge. It's not comfortable and it doesn't taste good. So, knowing that I've done it, I definitely would do things like eat lots of hot wings that are really hot and things, but that's because there's flavor. There's no, especially after doing it a second time, you realize that there is no benefit to this. I watched one video where a chick was saying that she thought it tasted good. I find that to be bullshit. I think she's just toughing it out and being strong for the camera. It doesn't have flavor. It's like literally like poison. Your body rejects it like poison because that's the level of toxicity that it is. So I tried to throw up, got a little bit, but not as much as I wish. I wish I could have thrown up the whole thing. Bob was able to throw up the whole thing, but everyone's like, "Oh, the next day is going to be terrible. You're pissed and your shit's going to hurt." Wow, no, it's not like that. Yeah, there was a little bit of like uncomfortableness until I got it all out, but it was not nothing for me anyways. It wasn't excruciatingly painful shits or anything like that. Just a normal day with I think it was just more so being uncomfortable, and I think because your body is literally convulsing and doing things, you get muscle aches and muscle spasms in areas that you don't normally have. So like my sides hurt, like I had worked out a little bit. But after doing this, I also looked at myself in the video in this onesie, and I realized, holy Christ, I need to work out. Like I'm a fat bastard right now. So I ended up cleaning up. I shaved the neck beard. I've been growing a beard since probably July, and it was not coming in the way I really wanted it to. So unfortunately, I cut it all off, and so I do still have a beard. It's about an inch long, as opposed to the 4, 5, 6 inches that I had going. But I feel like I look a lot better right now, healthier, younger, and I'm okay with the fact that I cut it all off. I thought I might regret it. After looking at myself in the video and seeing how I present myself, I want to, I'm a good looking motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm a hot ticket. So I got to make sure I present myself in such a fashion, because I got a beautiful wife, and I got to make sure that she can look at me and smile with a true smile. So, if I can't look at myself and smile with a true smile, then how can she, right? So here I am. I got to start working out. I did a little bit of a treadmill run last night. I just started pouring sweat the second I started running, which was good. And so that tells me, keep going. You're ready for this New Year's resolution. Everyone says it. Let's stick to it. But I got a treadmill that goes under my desk. I can play video games while I do it. And even though it's super dangerous, because I almost fell off like 15 times. But that's all the beginning of the year 2020. We got 2020 coming right on up. Today is Christmas Eve. And like I said, we're on episode 78. We are 22 away from hitting that 100 mark. We have lost the audience. And I'm not even going to be shy about it. It sucks. There are very few of you listening to this podcast these days, and I blame myself. We have gone through such a transition, and 2019 has been a terrible year for me, mentally and physically, and just a lot of things from the beginning to the end. I mean, it started off strong. I went to Vegas. I had a blast with some friends out there, Jerry and Jimmy and Steve and so many, David, just a lot of people out there at Vegas, having the time of our lives, only to come back and experience just a really uncomfortable situation with moving into my friend's house, having my friend move away. The reason we moved to Jacksonville, Florida, was to be near, obviously we want to come back to Florida, but the reason we chose Jacksonville was to be near my lifelong best friend. And, when we got to the house and we had a blast. I mean, I had a really good time hanging with him for a year, but as the year grew, it got less frequent. There was less frequent hangouts and things. And at the end of the day, we ultimately, he ultimately got a job out in Italy, and him and his family moved out. We ended up moving into his house, and just to be completely transparent here, it was not left in a condition that I was willing to be happy about. And so I spent a while, all the time I thought we were going to be spending moving, I spent repairing and cleaning and painting and taking out black mold and all sorts of crazy things. And in the process, I was so just distraught and angry and upset and sad and depressed about it all. I was in the middle of the government shutdown. I have a government job, so I was dealing without getting pay. And then through the moving process and my anger, I was throwing stuff, and I was just not happy. Probably not, lifting like I should have been, and ended up tweaking my elbow, pinching a nerve in my elbow, the funny bone nerve, and ended up having to get this major surgery on my right arm. Should have got it on both arms, but I skipped out on the left arm because I couldn't do it. So, the year started off pretty crappy, started off good into pretty crappy. By the end of January, I knew shit was going down. It wasn't going to be a good year. and I hate to think like that, but I'm just being honest. And obviously, there's always some good in the year. Bob came to visit. We had family visits, and we went and did things that were fun. But overall, I just felt like I got beat down this year. And so, the one benefit to a new year and that number, as silly as it sounds, is that it's the obvious, right? We can reset, we can rebuild, we can restart. And so that's what I'm going to do, is just focus on positive. I'm already gearing up for it. Like I said, I've cleaned up. I've got to focus. I got a treadmill. I got to focus on getting back into shape. And so I think a lot of people are able to do that because of a digit changing from a 19 to a 20. And 2020 is a big year for technology. I think that in 2020 we're going to see all this stuff that we've been talking about on this podcast and all across the internet with this cloud-based technology. We are going to start seeing some of the most amazing transitions, and that's exciting to me. I talked a lot about Google Stadia the day it was released, the day it was discussed and talked about, and the concept was released, and all the way through up until it launched. And so after it launched, it's like, okay, well, what did it do to the industry? Well, nothing yet that you can see. But if you've been following, like I have, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who've been following even closer than me, you got EA Sports working on their own cloud-based technology so you can play all their games. Now, EA Sports already has the EA Access program. If they can integrate the EA Access program into a cloud-based thing where you just pay, $10 a month or whatever it is, or $5 a month to get access to all the EA games, what the hell? Why would you pick anything else? The same goes for Microsoft. They're tearing it up with their cloud-based stuff. They got cloud-based game streaming testing going on right now. They have stream your own Xbox through your network, so play your games on your cell phone or your tablet or your computer right from your Xbox, like live, like you're playing it off of your Xbox. But then you also have the Google Stadia and the NVIDIA GeForce Now and all of these really amazing cloud-based technologies, and I think that is really starting to prove that that's the future of this technology and the gaming industry as a whole. I think this next generation of consoles with PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, the new Xbox One, whatever it's going to be called, those are going to be the last physical consoles, in my opinion. They might still sell consoles in some concept, but not to the level. I think most of the processing power will ultimately be towards the back end in the cloud. That way they can control it. So I kind of got cut off there with the first half of the podcast here, and now I'm recording a couple days later. I'm going to release this today. So long story short, I truly believe, like I was saying before, about this future of cloud-based gaming, and I want to dive into that a little bit. So as we see Google Stadia start to expand its audience and expand its growth, I mean, we're already a month and a half in, and we're looking at coming here into the first of the year, we're going to be getting a couple more games in the Stadia bucket of free games. And I gotta be honest, not super impressed yet with the plethora of games. I might have already said that, but I want to reiterate that I do believe in the Stadia technology. I do believe in what they are doing, and I believe that Google's pressure, Google's power, is what is going to be driving this whole industry. Now, yes, other companies have been doing this, other companies have been pushing this for longer than Google, but when Google, who is one of the biggest entities in the entire world, with the most data in the entire world, when they start getting into the market, the other companies now have a baseline to compete with, as opposed to just throwing to the wolves and saying, hey, try our technology. Now people like casual gamers are going to start wondering what this is. Now, so far, Stadia Pro users have gotten themselves Destiny 2, Samurai Showdown, Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, and Farming Simulator, the Platinum Edition, Farming Simulator 19. I think there's definitely a user base for Destiny 2. Samurai Showdown's a fun game. I probably would like to play that a little bit more. I had my buddies over, Bob and Alex, so I'll probably play that a little bit more now that I have some me time. But that being said, it's not one of the better fighting games. I mean, Street Fighter, which has been out for many years, it'd be cool to see something like that, or the Mortal Kombat game, which is available, but at full price. I already bought the game on the PlayStation, so I'm crazy me. I want to hold off on buying games because I want them on the Stadia. I want to play these games on the Stadia, but comparing it to games or to the programs like Xbox's Play Pass. Well, Xbox Play Pass already provides me with a bunch of these games for free. For the pass. So I have the pass. The pass has so many more games. Rage 2 is in there. I would like to buy it for $19.80, but I can already play it on the Play Pass. So I'm not gonna. I'm not into racing, so Grid doesn't tempt me. And I already own Red Dead 2 on the PlayStation. Own Borderlands 3 on the PlayStation. So when I'm looking at some of these deals, they're good deals, but I ain't paying $30 for Guilt. Darksiders Genesis isn't a game for me, I don't think, not at $40. Wolfenstein. So, when you look at when you're trying to compare, right? And I'm just going to be completely blunt and honest. When you're trying to compare and you see games like Thumper, it's a $20 game. That's the one coming out next for January, along with Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration edition. That's a $30 game. They're not putting the top of the line games on their free monthly yet, but they have a limited number. I mean, 20 games on their platform? It's starting to grow, and again, I believe in the technology, so I believe that in time, just like any system that's getting started, there are going to be plenty of games. Right now, there just isn't. Not for me. Metro Exodus, that's another game I'm going to play. I have it on my backlog, but I'm not paying $40-$50 for it when I already have it available at the other price. It seems weird too that they're discounting the way that they discount the games. It's like it's discounted for a little bit, and then that goes away, goes back to full price. Full price being $60 for most of these games, and I want to talk about that as well. Is $60 an appropriate price? I mean, some of these bundles now are coming out $80, $90, $100 for the Mortal Kombat Premium Edition bundle. Mortal Kombat used to be the type of game you pay the regular price, $40-$50 for it back in the day, and then you unlock it's the complete game. You unlock all the characters as you're playing. Now it's like they're getting an extra $30-$40 out of you. Maybe it's fair, maybe it's appropriate. I honestly don't know what goes into game development like other people do, but I appreciate any feedback. Anybody wants to provide additional information for me to say why, and I know that there's high costs, but I do development of my own on websites and SharePoint and things like that, and I understand that it takes time, it takes teams, it takes way more than most people understand. So maybe $60 a game is cheaper. Maybe the inflation, it's been that way for a while. But when you see other games coming out, and they're actually pretty damn good games, Trials Rising, $24.99. That's a good price. I already own it, so I'm not going to buy it again. But had I not, I would have paid $24.99 for Trials Rising. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how, because you're a AAA title, you can charge $60, but somehow these smaller companies are charging less, and maybe they know that they're going to make less in the long run, but they're just trying to get their name out there. Or maybe the price of games just isn't really where they should be. I'm starting to see a trend in the prices fluctuating, so not all games are coming out at $60, but there's still a general consensus that a new game is going to be $60 no matter the quality of it. And I don't like that, because now these games are having all these different editions: Pro, Premium, Platinum, Ultra, and they're coming out with 40 different prices. I mean, the same product, when I look at the store for Stadia, you got the same product listed 4 or 5 times if it has multiple versions, and that's just so stupid to me. It gets me so annoyed. Stadia Pro deals: Rage 2, Rage 2 Deluxe, Borderlands 3, Borderlands Super Deluxe. Come on. Give me the product, let me go into it, and then see the different versions of it. Don't give me 4 tiles with the same freaking game. Make it look like your store's more robust than it really is. So I think the time factor here will be fine for Stadia. I think in 6 months we'll look back and we'll be like, wow, remember when they had no games and this and that. But when you can compare, if you're playing on the computer, you compare to Steam Store. Then Steam Store has hundreds and thousands of games, and they're always on deals and discounts. It's like, why pay full price for a game? I think 2020, I'm done with that. I bought at least 5 or 6 games this year in 2019 at full price, right when it came out. Days Gone, boom. Spider-Man, boom. Well, that was probably the year prior, but you get them when they come out, and then I don't play them right away. I've got so many games. And then you got the talk of the free-to-play games, the Apex Legends and the Fortnites, which are still top quality games, if that's the style of game you like. Some people get bored of them. There's plenty of options. So I hate hearing, people complain about being bored of Fortnite, or bored of Apex, or bored of some of these other games, Battlefield, Battlefront, all that. When you have options, if you have all these options, then don't complain about it. Just go move on. So let's segue from the price of games. I just got done yelling at my kids, and sorry if you had to hear that in the background. I'm recording in a little different manner here on my handheld recorder just to see how the results come out. But let's turn here to, so you got all these games. You got Apex, you got Fortnite, you got these free-to-play games. Why, if they're good enough and you love them, why would you pay $60 for a game that you're not going to play? Very similar to, like I'm saying here. I've been playing, my whole name is Backlog. I love the idea that I have all these games to play. My desire, for some reason, is to continue to play the Fortnites and the Apexes and that. And it'll change. I still 100% plan on playing the other games and all that. But when, right? I definitely have slowed down on my desires to be playing Fortnite and my desires to be playing Apex and all that. But they're still there. I still turn to them. They're nice, quick, and easy. Damn people. So, all the loudness and craziness. Streaming. Okay, I love to stream. Streaming isn't lucrative right now for me because it's, you got to build an audience, just like the podcast. 2020, I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into things like streaming and podcasting and stuff. I got to get the fire back. I got to lose the weight. I got to get the mind right. All those things I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast. But one of the key things here is working with the right people. So I love having Joe as my podcast partner. Hopefully we can get him back full time. We just got the holidays. There's always a reason, right? 2 family members, or two fathers with families. Super tough to get everything lined up, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. But then you got the Babyface and the heel, Alpha, World Winning Federation on Twitch. Myself, Jimmy T. We're putting together a TV show. Ricky from MMA Marks is going to be helping out as the referee, and that starts on January 1st. January 1st, 2019 or 2020. Geez, whew, right after AEW Dynamite Eastern Time. Okay, we're going to be watching it. We're going to be talking about it right after. The first one's probably going to be a little shaky. Going to be laughing. We're going to have a hard time figuring all this stuff out. But guess what? We're going to roll with it. We're going to run with it. We're going to tear it up. And we're going to start getting the attention of the AEW audience. Our goal for 2020 is to have 50 concurrent viewers while we're broadcasting live. It's going to be a half hour to an hour show. One and done, right? We're not going to be streaming afterwards on the account. We're not going to be talking flawless or frivolously about other topics. It's going to be to the point, the program. When it's done, it's done. We wrap it up. We call it a day. Now, we can't wait, but we also have another addition to the broadcast on the Backlog Network, okay? We're going to be broadcasting live, impromptu with Kevin Earl and Earl. That's me and my cousin, Buddy. Both of our, his name is Earl, my middle name is Earl. So Kevin Earl. And we're going to have an impromptu talk show where we talk about topics, try to bullshit our way through them, and potentially bring in the viewers. We talked about that a bit. We're getting close to being ready to launch that one, but we are closer to launching the Babyface and the Heel, otherwise known as Bath, and that will start in just a couple of days. So, super excited about all this stuff. Be on the lookout. Be prepared for just some awesome content, and provide feedback. If you're not enjoying what you're seeing, let us know. We will work to adjust if we need to or if we feel we want to, and we will go from there. I am Kevin. This is the Backlog Podcast, and I'm going to wrap it up with letting you know that if you keep an eye on the Babyface and the Heel, you keep an eye on the Backlog Network, and you keep an eye on the team of people that we are talking about within the network, we will hype up the appropriate types of what I think is the appropriate types of audience that I'd like to support, that I'd like to get your attention on, whether it be a podcast like the MMA Marks, my cousins, who I'm not just promoting because they're my cousins, they're providing good quality, funny, awesome podcast. It could be another streamer. It could be reviewers like the Partisan Spy or Tech Mike. Okay? Mittens. It could be anything that we want to talk about. I'm focusing primarily on people who provide quality digital content. I'm not against putting out newspaper articles, but we're talking digital here. We're talking quality digital content, whether it be podcasting, online reviews, streaming, all the fun stuff. Backlog Network's going to have it all, and I'm not the only person making the decision on what's going to be on there. We have a whole team of people, and we are excited, and we are looking forward to 2020 as the year of the network. Again, I am Kevin. I am your host of the Backlog Podcast, and we are looking forward to 2020. Love y'all. Thank you. Please provide feedback. Please provide support. And please share this out so that others can hear and learn about this podcast and the network and the people within it. Peace out.
Thank you.